Hey there, in this video I wanted to give you a quick overview of how to back up your WordPress website to the cloud storage options built in to FlyWP. That includes Google Drive, Wasabi, and pretty much any S3 compatible provider. There's also options for Cloudflare R2, and Backblaze uses S3 compatible API as well, so that's always an option. So let's go over those settings and configuration options and dive into how to do a backup of your WordPress site in the FlyWP dashboard. Alright, so we're back in the FlyWP dashboard under the settings here. You go to settings and then you go to backup providers, and what it'll do is it'll show you the existing providers that you've got here configured, but adding a new provider is very easy. You've got S3, Amazon S3 options, DigitalOcean spaces, Cloudflare R2, Wasabi, which I've never used but is apparently very popular. You can also use Google Cloud Storage. Google Drive, super easy to configure, just connect your account, and then custom S3 compatible providers. I use Backblaze a lot, Backblaze B2, and they offer an S3 compatible API, so I've configured that as well. So in here you'll see Cloudflare R2, Google Drive, and Backblaze B2 using that S3 compatible option, all configured here in the global settings. And so when you go into the servers and click on your server here, I'm going to show you how to add that. It is a per site setting. So click down here and go to backups, and then initially you'll see nothing set up here. So all you have to do is go to backup settings for this particular website, and then you can choose your provider here. I'll do S3 compatible Backblaze B2. So that's what I've set up on those settings beforehand. And then let's see, type in my bucket name, and then the retention you want to do here, I'll just set it to 5 days. Now you've got some options here to back up files. You can do some paths to include like star.log and any folder that is named cache we want to exclude probably. Set a certain time for this. It is in UTC time zone, so you got to kind of calculate what that would be best for you. And the only options here are hourly and daily. There's not a weekly or a monthly or anything. But if you're backing up a dev site, you might want to do manual backups. I wish they had a weekly option. That would be good to add there. And then if you're doing development or e-commerce, hourly is probably a great option for you, and kind of go from there. So we'll save that, but I'm going to show you how to do a restore. This one is actually set up on Backblaze B2, and we've got the different things set up in there. And if we do a restore, I'm going to show you kind of what it shows you here and walk you through that. So you need to confirm the restore. What it's going to do is it will overwrite all of your files and all of your database. And so it's asking you to type confirm to proceed. So this is something where you got to make sure that you really want to, overwrite this website with this backup. If it's a backup from, many days ago and you're running e-commerce, probably want to look at how to handle that better. But this will overwrite everything on this website. So once you click that, what it's going to do is fire off in the background the task, and it'll show restoring here. And then when it's done, it shows you backup has been successfully restored. And then you can go back and check out the website, make sure it looks all good. You can visit the site, make sure it's loaded properly and all that kind of good stuff. I use the magic login button to click it back into WP's magic login, and it loads up the website for you here. And so everything's already kind of ready to roll. As far as the restore went smooth and no issues. So I like that it's a one-click restore. I like that it doesn't require you to have to type in, like some other management tools I've used, have to type in like the FTP username and password and the database username and password, host names, and you have to configure all that manually. This is literally a one-click restore, and it is great. It is per site, so just keep that in mind. We come over here and check out this one. When it's having issues, it'll stay stuck on creating. You can delete the unfinished backup to kind of stop that process, and then go back in here and double check your settings. So FlyWP Backups is my correct bucket name. And you have to make sure you use the correct bucket name because those settings here, when you're configuring that, it needs to match those up to the bucket that you're allowed to connect to with those settings. And so you want to make sure that is all looking good. And so we'll give that another try here and see. You can also, there we go. So it shows it's successful already. And it should update it here. There we go. So now it's success, all good. You can change this over to Google Drive, and then you have to go and get the root folder ID from the URL and that kind of stuff. Not super difficult. But then you're backing things up to Google Drive's storage, and it's not using any of your other storage from your other providers or charging you. Cloudflare 2, I think, has a 1 gigabyte free limit, but Google Drive is like usually 5 or 10 or 15 gigabytes free. So that's great for, using a Gmail account and hooking it up with its Google Drive storage options. And then Backblaze is super inexpensive. It's like $6 per terabyte with no minimum. So you can get a bill for like 25 cents, whereas most of the other providers do have a minimum on their monthly fees that they want to try and charge you. But yeah, I really like FlyWP, backup provider options. One of the best that I've ever seen, including the custom S3 compatibility, including Wasabi, which is great. And a lot of people use DigitalOcean Spaces. So that's awesome. And then the free Cloudflare R2 tier of, I think it's 1 gigabyte free. So you just have your account ID and then let it choose automatic with the access key and the secret key from the Cloudflare area when you're setting up R2. And then you just click add provider. So it's really easy to set these things up once you're in the dashboard and getting those access keys and everything configured. It saves that configuration on the back end so you don't have to worry about it again. And then you can go and use it per site as need be, and you're all good. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks.